Next is System Shock.
Whoa.
This released May 30th on PC with console compatibility promised for a later time. It is developed by Night Drive Studios and published by Prime Matter. It's identified as an action-adventure cyberpunk immersive sim. Now, it's a reboot of the 1994 game. Now, the 1994 game was developed by Looking Glass Technologies, not Night Drive Studios. And the 1994 game was published by Origin Systems compared to Prime Matter. So different developer and publisher there. And yes, we have some gameplay. The gameplay you were looking at is on the Steam Deck. And I will put the specs for the Steam Deck in the description for those that may not be familiar with what the Steam Deck has as far as its specifications. But for the gameplay you were seeing, there's something that you should know as far as what I have done on my Steam Deck in case you have a different experience when running it. I've allotted 4 gigabytes of VRAM on the Steam Deck through the BIOS. I'm using Crypto Utilities as at default. I'm using that program at default to improve performance and manage storage through altering the swap file. Fidelity FX Super Resolution FSR is enabled on the Steam Deck OS. Now, with Decky Recorder, which I'm using for the gameplay, the frame rate is capped. Frame rate is capped at 60. However, when I was not using Decky Recorder, I did see that the frame rates that I experienced remained the same despite Decky Recorder not being used. I'm using default game settings, so I've done no adjustments within the game settings. And I've been playing this. The gameplay that you are seeing here is on battery. And on battery, I've averaged mid 55 FPS frames per second. I've had some occasional dips to upper 40s, though on charge, some of the gameplay is on charge. The game stayed upper 50s to 60s as well. And you can see in the upper performance bar whether I'm using battery or I'm using the on charge if I have it plugged in for that. I digress. Let's talk about the story. You take on the role of a nameless hacker in the year 2072. So not 2077, Richard, from Cyberpunk. 2072. So some years before. And we're not in Metro City for this here. You are caught attempting to access files concerning the Citadel Station, and that is a space station owned by Tri-Optimum Corporation. Now, at the introduction of the game, you are taken to Citadel Station and brought before an Edward Diego. He was an executive of Tri-Optimum Corporation. Now, here's where it gets interesting, Richard. You are given a non-negotiable deal for all charges to be dropped for your wrongdoings in exchange that you confidentially hack an artificial intelligence, an AI, that controls this Citadel Station. And that antagonist for the game is called Shodan, Shodan. And that is an acronym, actually. Now, here's the plus here. If you get all of this done, if you do this, if you accomplish this, you get a military-grade neural implant. That could be a sweet deal.
Crazy.
That could be a sweet deal. And as you see in the gameplay right now, you get to traverse cyberspace through terminals. And
this is what cyberspace looks like, huh?
Apparently, I had no idea. No idea it looked like this. Yeah, different experience from Cyberpunk on what it looks like when you meet the AI in that game. And you get to remove blockades, and there are mines and enemies in cyberspace that you fight. They look like viruses to me. You get to shoot them with laser-based torpedoes to destroy them. For anyone that is additionally interested in this game, we did cover details for it in the May 30th Daily Gaming Update for the channel. And my verdict on this: it can be a challenging game depending on the settings you choose for combat, mission, cyber, and puzzle. You have an option 1 to 3, I think it is, and 3 is harder. 1 is not as hard. So choose those wisely because it will impact the experience you can have on the game. And this, I had to get acclimated to it. I didn't play the original. I really wish I did playing this, but don't expect to have checkpoints or check boxes to see how far that you've progressed in the game. It's not there. You have to explore and you have to acquire resources. You can even recycle items and get coin and use that coin to get more resources as well. There's much exploring to do. Prepare to be patient when playing this game. And right now, I'm stuck at the bridge that I'm not able to cross. I need to read some guides to find out how to do that. So, yeah, I plan to continue playing this one, but it's a brain teaser. It's a game you really have to sit and think about. Richard, how do you feel about that neural implant, though?
Oh my God! I was just telling you, like, I don't know what podcast I watched. It came up on my YouTube feed, and it was like this guy who used to head up the Google X program, and now he's going around trying to warn all the governments about artificial intelligence taking over, and it got me scared. So, I don't look favorably on these things at the moment.
Yeah, and we will have to figure out in playing this game how our nameless hacker feels about the neural implant as well. As for me, I would research it. I would try to understand, okay, what are the advantages, the disadvantages? And it's the notion that we're in the information age right now. And the next age, at least as an argument, is the biological age. And this is where technology and biology start to amalgamate and combine. And we're seeing indications of that actually with the Apple Watch. And I'm a type 1 diabetic, so I have an artificial pancreas through an insulin pump. And I feel we're on the precipice of it. I do. So neural implant, maybe in 2072, 2077, may not be...
A reasonable use?
May not be that far off, Richard. But apparently they got over it. Apparently these individuals in this game did not hear about that podcast. So that when they got to 1994, they did hear about it. But it's a beautiful game. I did take some time to look at original screen captures of the 1994. Yeah, the 1994 game, and it's amazing what they have done. A different studio, different publisher. So, yeah, even if you have to pull up some guides and really think about it, this one's worth jumping into. Nice. It really is. Just maybe be prepared to have some coffee so you can think about it. Yeah. Don't do this when you're tired. Don't play this game when you're tired. At least I wouldn't recommend it. All right, and that's our segment here on System Shock 2023.